Hello, this is Amy with One Mommy Scrapping, and welcome to Take Two Tuesday, where I take my Happy Scrappy Sunday Live, speed it up, and narrate it for you, and upload it to YouTube to give you another chance to watch. I have this beautiful photo of my daughter and I at the Wing Wall in Mooresville, which is the town where we live, and they have these beautiful wings on the side of one of the buildings in an abandoned lot. And unfortunately, that is going to be disappearing soon because someone has purchased that land. So I wanted to get as many pictures of us together as I could. And I had a friend over, Miranda Weber, and so we happened to be in downtown Mooresville a couple times, and one of the times was with my daughter. So I thought this was the perfect time to take those photos. I am using the Paige Evans Horizon collection, which technically is a travel themed collection, but works very, very well for this kind of photo. I've pulled a couple different things. One are those stripes, another is the large paper with the butterflies, which I get rid of right there because I found the 6x8 pad. I'm using a B-side purple. And then as much as I love that scalloped side, for this layout, I am using the white side with the words. Now I'm going to trim down that white. I think I trim it to 11 inches so that I have, you can see a lot of the purple border when I put it back. And I'm using a sketch from my Pinterest board. So if you follow me on Pinterest, you can, you'll be able to see that board there. And I'm kind of flipping through looking for some other things. I end up not finding really anything else in the 6x8 pad. Nothing that really screams to me though, at least. So I am going to mat it with that watercolor, brushed watercolor look. And I'm inking with I think it is Hickory Smoke. I wanted kind of a lighter color. So the butterfly is going to end up, butterfly paper is going to end up being the large section in the back. A lot of it gets covered up, but enough of it shows along the side that you're able to see it. And now I'm trying to figure out the strips along the side and the bottom. And I have this blue, dark blue pattern that I've already used part of for another layout, and I end up going to use that one along the bottom. I think I cut a 3.5 inch strip of that, and then the stripes are going to be a 3-inch strip down the side. So I'm incorporating the dark blues in there, which really work well with the color of the wall. And then I'm going to trim down that striped one. I think I made it 10.5 inches. So you're just able to see the words at the top and bottom. And I'm showing this to some of the people on my YouTube live. They were talking about my dog and trying to get me to give him treats. And I'd just done that layout of all about him wanting treats. I don't have a video for it, but it is on my Instagram. So I'm trying to get the basic bare bones of the layout down, and I've got now everything kind of down. And I decide I want to pull one of the Paige Evans stamps, or not stamps, stencils. And of course I don't want to rip up all the paper, although I tend to put things down and rip it right back up again. So I'm using some washi tape to kind of protect it. And I'm using, these are not the picket fence brushes, these are just the makeup brushes. And I'm using, I believe it's Seedless Preserves, and then I put in some shaded lilac. And I don't know what was up, if maybe I didn't quite get my brush cleaned as well the previous time, but the shaded lilac ends up turning a very funky browny purple, and I don't like it. I end up covering up a lot of it. So I'm going to put the photo up on foam tape just to give it a little bit more of dimension, and it will make it easier to layer things later on. And before I forget, I will go ahead and add that date stamp so that doesn't end up happening. Now there's a scalloped piece on the right side, and I don't really want to do a scallop, so I was testing out some different just rectangular strips already had. And this is a tile strip from the 6x8 pad that I had left over from another layout, and it just fit perfectly. And again, it's got that beautiful blue, dark blue in there. And now I'm trying to figure out titles, and I asked the people watching, if they have any suggestions, and I'm given a couple different ones. And the one I end up going with is from my sister, one she actually suggested, which is Fly Away With Me. I actually thought that worked really well. And now I'm going to look for some layering pieces. The title will come in a little bit because I'm waiting for people to suggest things. And everybody keeps telling me to put the bicycle and the moped in there. And I told Miranda I would include a pineapple in there, which for anything with my daughter is perfectly acceptable because we're always searching for pineapples. So here's where I am pulling the letters for the title. I spell me backwards correctly. And then for some reason I start spelling the word away. So fly with away me doesn't make much sense. And here's where I realize, wait a second, this is the wrong word. And everybody on the Facebook group is kind of laughing at me, which is fine. I'm laughing at myself. So while it doesn't show up well on video, the white letters do show up reasonably well in person. However, I do something in a little bit to fix your visibility of it. And again, I'm trying to figure out where do I want to put the word fly, because it's not showing up so well over the white because it's a soft silver hollow finish to it. And so I'm trying to decide what to add. And I end up deciding to go ahead and put fly over the dark blue. But then I'm left with this big gap, which feels like, oh, I forgot to line everything up. I do like it there, but then it feels funny because the word is so short, having it end so soon. So here it is. I'm just making the decision. Let's put it here. I have to say, these holographic thickers are some of my favorite. You've got a white foam base, but the the cardstock on top. I'm going to end up tucking a lot of that flower, so I cut it in half so I can use the other half in another spot. You know, it's kind of like, let's see what flowers I can just tuck in and add. And I ended up creating a couple different embellishment areas. Normally I just kind of go with 3. By the time it's all done and over, I actually have 5 embellishment spots. So be prepared for a lot of still shots at the end. And I cut that in half and then go, no wait, that's not going to work. And this is where I realize I don't really like the white. And so I'm including, I take this little cutaway piece from one of the 6x8 sheets. And I cannot get it lined up straight, y'all. Finally have to turn it, which is what I tend to do when I'm not filming. And then I'm sticking down the title for the final time. So if we're counting, that word away has been put down and peeled up, I think, 3 different times. So that little blue triangle in the bottom right cluster says away we go, and it has an airplane on it. And while the sentiment is perfect for the layout, the airplane is not. And so I found this pink pink butterfly, which works well. And I happened to find a blue moth. I'm not a moth person. I don't like moths all that much, but it works for this layout, so I include it. So I have a small embellishment cluster going to the right of the title and a larger one to the left. And then I have quite a large one at the bottom right corner of the page. I'm trying to stick in as many of those leaves as I can. I'm short on flowers and have a ton of leaves. I had struggled using the blue leaves in this packet of flowers. And I'm trying to figure out where to put that little tiny one. and end up not putting it really anywhere. So I decided to put some more leaves up at the top, just kind of layering stuff in. And a lot of it's a process of tuck it in. Does it work? Yep, leave it there. Or nope, move it somewhere else. So I keep going back and checking my embellishments. What else can I add in there? This says happy together, which certainly describes my daughter and I. And I pulled something else. Oh yeah, I pulled the hearts. I had 3 hearts left, so I went ahead and added those to each of those embellishment clusters, which at this point I thought were going to be my only embellishment clusters. Adding in another stem, and here it is. I decide I need something on the other side. My goal was to use up as many of the flowers as possible, which is one reason why I started sticking things in over there. And I put this one flower up on foam so it has a bit more of a dimension, but I glue the stem down so it's kind of going almost like a downhill type look. Another check through the die cuts, and this is where I'm trying to figure out, I really don't like how those flower, or how the heart stencil turned out. The stencil is absolutely gorgeous, but I can't figure out what to do to make it color-wise look better. That one tab that I put in on the side, the left side of the photo, says Adventure Awaits. And I don't like it up here either. And it's just kind of like I'm putting it down and taking it back up. Finally, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I am done. Maybe this is where it all needs to go. And of course, I left my Nuvo drops off. I have Carnation Pink. Oh, let me pull up my swatch book real quick and I can tell you the colors. That dark purple is Crushed Grape. The dark blue is Midnight Blue, and the light purple is Sweet Lilac. Which I bought the Sweet Lilac thinking it was a darker purple. Let me tell you, it's not, and the pictures online lie. But I still enjoy it, and it would have been something I would have bought eventually. And then finally I decided I could stick this in the tag in there. And I'm going to, not on camera, but I will eventually be writing on that tag. And then I put Wanderlust under it, and I kind of want to write a little letter to my daughter. You know, telling her not to be afraid. She's going into middle school, and things are going to be different. Oh, and you saw me with the spatula out. I screwed up and messed up one of my Nuvo drops, which is why that's always the last thing I do instead of putting them down and then adding more embellishment. So I can now add the other half of that green sticker that I had cut and used at the bottom right corner of the photo earlier. I'm just sticking in more leaves and more flowers, and I end up being able to use all of the flowers. I am so excited. So I do have some leaves left with this, but I don't have any more flowers. Tucking in some more of the leaves. And then adding in some Nuvo drops. If you would like to join me on Facebook for my Happy Scrappy Sundays, it's 3 o'clock Eastern Time. I have a link to my YouTube page in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already joined us. And I hope you guys all have an absolutely lovely day. Bye!